happened on that last 2-point conversion?
Yeah, not going to get into all the specifics, Jeff, but obviously it did not go as we thought it would.
Did you make that call or did Tommy?
Yeah, I make every call.
Shadur had the hot hand. Why would you take him off?
Yeah, it's a 2-point play. Didn't come through on our first 2-point play. Got to the second 2-point play, we didn't come through. But that's on me.
Was that play call yours or Tommy's?
I'm responsible for all of it.
Department of Justice, I need y'all to open up an investigation in what the hell is going on in Cleveland. What the hell is Stefanski doing?
Yeah. I'm going to say it again. Kevin Stefanski must be fired.
The Cleveland Browns just dropped a 31-29 loss to the 1-11 Tennessee Titans, and it almost doesn't feel real. Let me repeat that for anyone who thinks they misheard. 1-win Titans. A team that's been struggling all year walked right into Cleveland as underdogs by more than 4 points and still pulled off a win in a way only the Browns could manage. Fans joked and called it the Toilet Bowl or the Tank Bowl. But what happened on that field felt less like a joke and more like a warning sign for a franchise that keeps tripping over itself when it matters most. This wasn't just a bad game, it was a full-on masterclass in how to shake a young quarterback's confidence into pieces. It was a veteran head coach practically telling the league he'd rather take the loss than let his 5th-round rookie shine. And the wildest part? The evidence is right there on the field for everyone to see. So clear that even the most committed Stefanski supporters are backing away fast. Now let's talk about Shadur Sanders, the rookie everyone doubted, the 5th-round pick who slid in the draft because scouts sometimes overthink simple things.
If I'm out there any play, I would wish I would always have the ball in my hand, but that's not what football is. Sometimes you got to run the ball. Sometimes you got to kick a field goal. Everything. That's the game. That's the most important thing is the ball. So in any situation, of course you would want to, but I know we practiced something and we executed it in practice, and we just didn't seem to this day. So I would never go against, kind of like what the call was or anything.
The same quarterback Kevin Stefanski reportedly never even wanted on his depth chart. And what did Shadur do? He stepped in and lit it up. 23 of 42 for 364 yards and 3 touchdowns, plus 29 rushing yards and another score with his legs. A 97.7 passer rating against a Titans defense that came out swinging like they hadn't given up on the season at all. This wasn't some safe game manager day. This wasn't a rookie trying not to mess up. Sanders came out firing like he had something to prove, throwing perfect touch passes that fell into receivers' hands like they were dropped from the sky and ripping tight lasers between defenders when the moment demanded it. Every big moment, every tough down, he showed the type of poise teams usually hope to find in the first round, not on day 3 of the draft. Cleveland has been searching for this kind of quarterback since they came back into the league. Someone who looks like he belongs under the big lights, and yet Stefanski treated the kid like he was some kind of problem instead of the spark keeping the team alive.
I'm going to say it again and again and again. Kevin Stefanski did not want Shadur Sanders, didn't even want him in the 5th round. Kevin Stefanski has done everything in his power to keep Shadur Sanders from succeeding in Cleveland as a 5th-round pick against all odds.
The game couldn't have started any worse. Titans return the opening kickoff deep. First play loses 4 yards, then a sack where 2 Tennessee defenders came straight through, untouched and crushed Sanders in the end zone. A false start, then a punt from the 7, and you could basically smell the safety coming before it happened. Suddenly it's 7-0, and Cleveland still hasn't opened its eyes. Down 14-3. The Browns were getting hit in the mouth on every snap, and Shadur Sanders had to jump straight into hero mode just to keep the game from slipping out of reach. And somehow he did it. He kept battling, kept throwing fearless passes, kept finding ways to escape pressure and make plays a rookie shouldn't even be thinking about making this early in his career. Cleveland's defense gave him almost no help. 184 rushing yards allowed to a team with only 1 win. Tony Pollard was slicing through the front 7 like he was running in a practice drill. Tennessee dominated the trenches, the tempo, the flow of the game, everything. And still, Sanders kept dragging Cleveland back into it 1 throw at a time. Jerry Jeudy, who's been quiet most of the season, suddenly looked like the player everyone believed he could be. 3 catches, 76 yards, and a touchdown. All because Sanders put the ball exactly where it needed to be. Then you had the unexpected breakout, Steve Smith said. Harold Fanon Jr., the rookie receiver, putting up 8 catches for 114 yards, creating separation and making himself a target all game long.
Even yanking Shadur again for the potential tying 2-point conversion, going with the Wildcat. It was a disaster after Shadur had shown again and again he's the answer in the red zone for the Cleveland Browns.
Sanders fed him again and again, trusting him like a seasoned duo. Then came the drive everyone will be replaying for weeks. 80 yards, 7 plays, pure quarterback artistry. Sanders carved up the Titans' secondary like he'd been studying their coverage for years. One completion after another, moving the chains with calm precision, walking his offense down the field like he'd done it 1,000 times before. And to finish it off, he dropped a perfect fade into the hands of P-Him for the touchdown. A beautiful rainbow ball that probably made a few league scouts sit up straight and realize how badly they misjudged this kid during the draft. When the scoreboard hit 31-29, every executive who slept on Sanders had to feel that sting. This wasn't luck. This wasn't a fluke. This was Shadur Sanders showing the entire league what they overlooked, and doing it while his own head coach acted like he didn't want to believe what was right in front of him. Cleveland was down by 2, just one 2-point conversion away from tying the game. And with the way Shadur Sanders was cooking, they probably would have taken the Titans straight into overtime and finished the job.
Shadur Sanders just played by far his best game as a pro. He just threw for 364 yards and 3 touchdowns and led the Browns in rushing and scored a rushing touchdown from 7 yards. Clutch, clutch, clutch. Just led an 80-yard drive in 7 plays to put them within striking distance, 31-29.
Tennessee looked exhausted. Cleveland had all the momentum, and the whole stadium could feel the shift happening right in front of them. Sanders had already thrown for 364 yards, scored on the ground earlier from 7 yards out, and proved he could operate in the red zone, read pressure, and make big-time throws when everything was on the line. He showed every single trait you want from your quarterback when the season is hanging by a thread. And what does Kevin Stefanski do? He pulls Sanders off the field. A wildcat formation for the 2-point conversion with the game on the line, and with his quarterback playing the best game of his young career, it felt like a decision out of another world. Jenkins took the direct snap and ran straight into a wall of Titans defenders with no pitch option, no disguise, no creativity at all. Just a predictable run that collapsed instantly, leaving more than 60,000 people in the stadium staring at the field in disbelief, trying to understand why their head coach chose the one play guaranteed to fail. People aren't even calling these conspiracy theories anymore. They're calling them patterns, because that's exactly what it looks like. Stefanski didn't want Sanders in the draft, didn't want him in the 5th round, and now he's making decisions that look like he's trying to prove a point instead of trying to win. It's like he'd rather take the loss than let Sanders shine and prove everyone wrong about his potential. Now look at the comparison everyone made after the game.
I look at the sum of your parts, not exactly the overall outcome. And I still thought he did a very, very, very fine job. I was very impressed by him yesterday. I think a lot of people should have been impressed by him. If you weren't, I think you're just, I think you're fighting the fight too much online.
He opened up my mind because I did not expect him to be able to just keep on going after them. I know he's the reason they were down. Well, that and the block punt. He's the reason they got down 2 scores to the worst team in football, which now maybe it might be us. I don't know. But the fact that he absorbed those hits, he kept on coming, he kept his confidence. That guy's confidence is never going to waver. And that
Sanders versus Cam Ward. Ward, the #1 overall pick, the so-called generational talent, the quarterback scouts hyped up for months. Ward finished 14 of 28 for 117 yards, while Sanders threw for more than 3 times that number. Ward looked average, and Sanders looked like he belonged in prime time from the moment he stepped on the field. The 5th-round rookie absolutely outplayed the 1st overall pick, and it wasn't even close. It was a statement performance that echoed around the league. Tennessee's game plan was simple: run the ball, control the clock, avoid mistakes, straight classic football. And it worked because Cleveland's defense kept giving up huge rushing lanes like they'd forgotten how to read a run play. Even with the Titans dominating possession, Sanders kept Cleveland alive through pure talent and toughness. He made throws that shifted momentum, led drives that put points up when hope was thinning out, and carried his team every time they needed him. He did everything a franchise quarterback is supposed to do, and the outcome of all that hard work? Watching from the sideline as his coach called a failed Wildcat play that slammed the door on their comeback, it's unbelievable. It's infuriating. It might be the most Cleveland Browns moment in a franchise full of unbelievable moments, and that says a lot for a team that has mastered the art of letting wins slip away when they're right there for the taking. And the message behind Stefanski's decision couldn't be clearer. We don't trust our quarterback. We don't believe in our future. We'd rather gamble the season away with a gimmick than let our young quarterback finish the job. Cleveland should have won this game. Without question. They had the better quarterback, the better momentum, and the clearer path. The only advantage Tennessee had was that Cleveland's coaching collapsed when it mattered most. The analytics crowd will defend it.
Shadur Sanders is beyond the shadow of a doubt the future of the Cleveland Browns. Shadur looked better versus an NFL team than the supposed #1 overall pick Heisman winner Mendoza looked versus Ohio State just yesterday. Shadur Sanders is the future of the Browns. Period. 4 touchdowns, including the rushing, 393 yards. I already watched the Shadur Sanders tape. You can watch it after the show. It's on YouTube, a full complete breakdown. What you see of Shadur Sanders is this: darts to Jerry Jeudy and the second window of zone coverage after he beats his initial player in man. What you see is perfect passes to David Njoku over the shoulder of another defender. What you see is 8-yard touchdown runs when everybody's covered in man coverage. What you see is Shadur Sanders checking at the line of scrimmage and then hitting Harold Fannin on wheel routes after he brings in another wide receiver to chip block to buy more time.
Pulling out charts and probability numbers, but football isn't a calculator sport. It's about rhythm, belief, and backing your best player in the biggest moment. Sanders was hot. He was locked in, he was ready. And Stefanski still said, "Nah, let's run Wildcat." It felt like a decision made in denial, not in competition. Meanwhile, Titans defenders were literally doing Sanders' signature celebration in the end zone earlier in the game, making fun of him, trying to make it personal. And how did he respond? By throwing for 364 yards and giving his team every single chance to win. That's mental strength, that's leadership, that's what a true franchise quarterback does when the noise gets loud. But his own coach didn't show him the same respect the opposing defense showed him while mocking him. Tennessee's players acknowledged he was a threat. Stefanski acted like he wasn't trustworthy enough to run a 2-point conversion. You can't have it both ways in this league. You can't keep Kevin Stefanski and expect Shadur Sanders to grow into the quarterback he's clearly becoming. It's one or the other, and after what happened today, the answer shouldn't even be a debate anymore. Fire Kevin Stefanski. Not tomorrow, not next week, but tonight. Walk into that locker room and tell him it's over. Tell him that what he did to Sanders was unacceptable for any coach trying to win games in the NFL. Tell him Cleveland is choosing its young quarterback, and he won't be part of that future anymore because the damage has gone too far. Sanders deserves better. Browns fans deserve better. This entire franchise deserves more than a coach who would rather defend his own ego than trust the quarterback who just put the team on his back. The roster has talent, the offense has weapons, and the quarterback is showing he's ready. The only thing holding this team back is the person calling the plays. And after today, after that Wildcat disaster, after watching Sanders stand on the sideline while his team lost by the same margin as that failed 2-point conversion, nobody can defend Stefanski anymore. His decisions weren't questionable, they were unbelievable. Kevin Stefanski just coached his last game for the Cleveland Browns. He just doesn't realize it yet. After a performance like that, after a moment that felt like a betrayal of the quarterback who kept fighting all afternoon, there's no way to walk this back. There's no speech that fixes this. There's no learning experience angle that saves him. There's definitely no analytics chart on earth that can justify taking the ball out of Sanders' hands when he was having the best game of his young career. Sanders is the future. Stefanski is the past. And Cleveland has to make the choice that moves this franchise forward instead of letting old mistakes keep dragging them down. Shadur Sanders threw for 364 yards, tossed 3 touchdowns, added a rushing score, led an 80-yard drive in 7 plays, and dropped a gorgeous fade for 6 points when the team needed it most. And his reward: standing on the sideline watching a predictable Wildcat call blow up and watching the season shake apart because his coach refused to trust him. That's the Kevin Stefanski era. A run full of second-guessing, hesitation, and decisions that make everyone wonder what this team could have been if the right person were in charge. And after today, after this meltdown, after this missed opportunity, Cleveland needs to finally turn the page. It's time to let Shadur Sanders cook without someone trying to burn the kitchen down every time he steps up to the stove. Like, comment, share, and subscribe.